Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binaries of all ages, welcome to How to Make a Literal Cat in Your Favorite RPG. We hope you're not here to learn how to do character creation the right way, because this is the Cat Creation Podcast. I am a host of this show. My name's Joel.
Hi, Joel. I'm another host of this show, and my name is Avalon.
Hi, Avalon. Do we have a guest of this show?
We do have a guest of this show. Guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
I would love to introduce myself. I am Quinn, and I am the guest for this episode.
Hi, Quinn.
Hi, Quinn.
Hi, Joel. Hi, Avalon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, been loving Monster Hour. I started listening earlier this year.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We've been doing it for 5 years now, which is wild to imagine. And really, really excited. Wrapped up our second season. Really excited for season 3.
Oh, dang. What are you playing for season 3? Or can you even tell us that?
I can't. We haven't made our official announcement yet, so I can't quite mention it. But we'll be playing a new game. It will be powered by the Apocalypse, and I'm excited for it. We did announce we will have a different GM/keeper for season 3. I will be taking a break and will be playing rather than GMing, which I'm very excited about.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's always nice to get a break from GMing.
Yes.
I certainly appreciate it. Anyway, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, your podcasting/RPG experience, or whatever else you think qualifies you to be here?
I would love to, yeah. So, as previously mentioned, I'm Quinn. I am at least for season 1 and season 2, the keeper/GM/producer of Monster Hour. Monster Hour is a narrative-driven actual play podcast about the world's many monsters. In season 1, we played Monster of the Week, as many podcasts have done and sort of dipped their toe in. And in season 2, we played Absurdia, which is another powered by the Apocalypse game, which I wrote and designed, and we will be creating a cat in today. Absurdia is it's the first game I designed. It's a absurdist modern fantasy role-playing game about the inane hilarity and understated horror of everyday life. It's inspired by works of absurd humor, surreal horror, and literary nonsense like Welcome to Night Vale, Alice in Wonderland, Gravity Falls, and The Twilight Zone, among others. Back in 2022, I think, released kind of a early access version of it that coincided with our second season of Monster Hour, which we did a campaign of Absurdia. And just recently, earlier this year, I released the 1.0 version of Absurdia, which had expanded GM section, some mechanics tweaks, and a whole host of new layout and artwork, which I'm really happy with, I'm really proud of, and I'm really excited to create a literal cat in Absurdia today.
Nice. Speaking of Welcome to Night Vale, y'all hear that there's a Night Vale RPG in development?
I did hear that.
I did. Not to throw too much shade, but I'm a little disappointed it's a sort of D20 mechanic.
Mm.
I'm hoping that it works with the Night Vale vibe.
Yeah, I've not heard good things about it either, but I did think it was interesting that it was in development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm curious to see how it pans out.
Yeah, me too. Probably get to it here on this show eventually.
Whenever it releases.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Absurdia, you told us a little bit about it. Is there anything else you would like to mention before we get started with the main body of the show?
Yeah, so just by way of a little bit of background, Absurdia it uses the Powered by the Apocalypse system, which I know you've covered on multiple episodes here, so listeners are probably familiar. There's a handful of sort of tweaks and modifications that I made in the development of it. There's a sort of second track or core system beyond harm called Essence, which represents the unique characteristics of each of the playbooks to sort of survive in the upside down, topsy-turvy world of Absurdia. Each playbook has its own unique specific essence. Those can be used for, certain playbook moves. Suffering essence harm can also be a consequence for different moves. And in some ways, it's similar to like stress mechanics from Blades in the Dark and similar systems, but tweaked a bit to fit with the Absurdia system and structure. And then there's also borrowing from games like Urban Shadows and Root. There's a faction system that plays into Absurdia that really dives deep on like the small town, surreal small town suburban politics of like Welcome to Night Vale and things like that. So there's 4 factions in the game: bureaucracy, community, underbelly, and entropy. Each of the playbooks is associated with one of the factions. And so there's not just basic moves, but also faction moves that deal with the social situations in town. Outside of that, it largely functions like a PBTA game. You have character ratings, you gain experience, you have playbooks, you have playbook moves, all that fun sort of stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I'd always thought, I'm not familiar with Urban Shadows or like the whole like faction system but I'm aware that that's like a thing that some other PBTAs have used. My frame of reference for like the Essence track has always been like the Doomed track from that one playbook in Masks. I think it's just called the Doomed.
I actually have never played Masks. I've peeked through the playbooks a couple times, but I don't remember that one.
It's heavily inspired by Raven from Teen Titans.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's mechanically, it borrows a little bit from Luck in Monster of the Week and Stress from Forged in the Dark games. But yeah, it's sort of more tailored to this particular system and the individual playbooks. And, there's ways that you can refresh your essence so you can get those back. So it kind of combines a lot of different mechanical and narrative elements from different games, as well as some original, thought processes.
Nice.
They say all good artists steal.
Oh yeah. Well, and Powered by the Apocalypse is just such like a fantastic system for narrative focused games.
Mm-hmm.
I think Absurdia is a pretty cool and creative system and setting, but I'm not ingenuitive enough to come up with wonky and wild mechanics that actually are balanced. So I freely borrowed from the wonderful system that Vincent and Meg have designed.
Yeah. Powered by the Apocalypse is one of those things where like there's so many different takes people have had on it that now there's just a whole like side thing of just additional mechanics that you can tack on because of everyone's taken inspiration from each other as much as they have the original Apocalypse world.
Totally. It's created this awesome ecosystem of like game design elements that I think is really cool. I mean, Forged in the Dark, that whole system originally was like a hack of Powered by the Apocalypse. I think it's different enough that it deserves to be its own ecosphere. And then, you have games like Brindlewood Bay and all the carved from Brindlewood with the, theorizing move. Like it's this really, I think it's a really cool community and design community that's come out of the PBTA sphere.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
So many ideas.
Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's actually get on with what the show is about.
Yeah, don't get me started on game design. We'll spend the entire episode talking about that instead of
that's a whole other podcast.
Making a literal cat.
But before we begin the actual character creation, we do have some rules that this show has to follow that are separate from and more important than the game's rules. No offense.
I accept this hierarchy.
Okay, good. Yes, so we have the cat creation rules. Rule number 1 of which is, we accept no cop-outs. We are making a cat, which is going to be the exact animal that comes to mind when I say the word. No anthropomorphic races, no people turned into cats, no big cats like lions or tigers, or any other cop-out you could imagine. We don't do that here. Also, probably not a time cat. Probably.
We covered those pretty well in Monster Hour Season 2, but I won't say no.
All
right.
Rule number 2 is we cannot use homebrew/house rules. If the rules in the rulebook do not explicitly allow something to happen, we count it as a rule broken. We come across rules as written versus rules as intended. We go with whichever one tells us no. Now, those are going to be a lot easier to decide which are written and intended because we have the author here.
Yeah, it's always a nice perk. Rule number 3, if the game includes stats for a literal cat, those must be used or adapted to the game's character sheet.
Now, Quinn...
Is that a thing?
Yeah, do you have that?
No, there's no specific playbook for a literal cat.
Okay, well, we're going to help you out with that.
Thank you.
Is there any, enemy module?
For a cat?
Yeah.
No. No, I'm going to say no.
You hesitated.
Okay.
We have a bunch of sample threats, and I don't believe any of them are literal cats, but I designed them with a lot of community input and backer support, and so I don't recall at this exact moment, but I'm going to say no. They're not literal cats.
Okay. Well, if it's a community resource, it's not canon to the game anyway, by the show's logic, so...
So I think we're in the clear.
Yeah.
We're on 4, right?
Yep.
Alright, rule number 4 is the character, class, background, playbook, job, what have you, must exist in the game's core rules or as part of an official expansion. Again, we cannot use homebrew classes. They do not exist.
Not real.
Yeah. We are not looking at any official expansions. Quinn, there's not any expansions for this game yet, right?
I'm working on some supplemental playbooks, but they're not ready. And none of them are literal cats.
Gotcha.
We'll just stick with what we got then.
Yeah.
Rule number 5, the cat can learn any skill available to its class, even if it's not something a cat could normally be trained to do. We've even had, talking cats, if it was important enough to the character sheet.
Mm-hmm. Pilot cats, cat guns, what have you.
Yeah, we've probably made a cat do it. And if we haven't yet, just wait until someone makes a joke about it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Rule number 6 is if a tool would be physically impossible for a literal cat to use, even if comically downsized for them, they cannot use it. I've gone over so many on this show at this point that, honestly, I don't know what's left. I'll have to start handing my cats some stuff from my toolbox and seeing what they can and can't pick up.
All right. Think they can use an Allen wrench?
No. I mean, if somebody placed it for them, maybe they could bat it around, but I don't think they could do it on their own.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Those things are hard enough for me to use, man.
Rule number 7 is, if a character sheet has a section that is meant to be filled out in collaboration with the whole table, we have to leave that blank so potential players can make it fit the group that they're playing with.
And finally, rule number 8 is we have to keep track of every rule that we break. With that out of the way, are we ready to jump into this book?
Yeah.
I think so.
Let's do it.
I gotta say, love the art, the cover art you got going on here.
Oh, thank you.
Very, very funky.
Kaylee is absolutely fabulous. And one of the things I was most excited about in the 1.0 update of Absurdia was getting more illustrations from them.
Nice.
Let's go down here.
Starting on page 15, or I guess 16 if you want to start right at the point. So, what are playbooks that we're working with?
Yeah, so there are... Oh my gosh, I haven't actually counted the playbooks in a long time. 9?
9 playbooks.
Yes. There are 9 playbook options in Absurdia. Briefly, they are the Bureaumancer, a practitioner of the bureaucracy's Byzantine arcana. The Curio, a collector and purveyor of powerful and peculiar eldritch objects. The Forgotten Vessel, formerly a powerful and terrifying avatar of entropy, abandoned by the entropic horror that once possessed them. The Paradox, a mockery of continuity and linearity unmoored from the normal passage of time. The Rascal...
So the Time Cat, if we go with that.
The Time Cat, yes.
Yeah.
The Rascal, a mischievous youth whose boundless imagination is capable of wreaking absolute havoc. The Scrapper, a resourceful, clever, and reckless tinkerer. The Void Archivist, a collector and curator of the memories held within the empty tomes of the archive. The Vox, a community radio host determined to make sense of the bizarre happenings around town. And the Zeitgeist, a collective consciousness inhabiting several human bodies united by a common purpose.
Ooh.
I do love how many of your, major NPCs in Monster Hour Season 2 are so clearly inspired by the playbooks.
Mm-hmm, yeah. I found actually in Season 1 when we were playing Monster of the Week, that was a good way to identify, or sort of cast NPCs in various roles. And I just kind of kept doing it in Season 2 because it's a good way to sort of conceptualize the tropes of the media, as the playbooks are, in Powered by the Apocalypse games, usually derived from the stereotypical characters that you encounter in that media. So it's something that I tend to do when playing RPGs.
Fair enough. So anyway, a few that stood out to me, like I said, the Paradox, I think, would be a good potential one.
Mm-hmm.
Time Cat?
Yeah, Time Cat. The Paradox sounds good. The Rascal, I think, is very on the nose.
It's got cat energy for sure.
Mm-hmm. There was one other one. Which one was it? Not the Vox. No. Not the Zeitgeist. Although just playing as an entire litter of kittens might be interesting.
That would be really funny.
Yeah, that would be really funny.
Although, the way that the zeitgeist works, I would not ever want to put them in harm if that was the logic we went with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, if I remember from when Shrimp and Crits did it, if the zeitgeist takes harm, whichever body took harm just dies.
Oh my gosh.
It's rules as written, they don't necessarily die, but the body is, like, injured and incapacitated. So, like, the body is out of the scene, effectively. And then, like, you know, you use the healing mechanics from the game. If something really bad happens to one of the bodies in the zeitgeist, that body can die. And generally what happens is you get a new body for your zeitgeist. So maybe not the best for literal cats, because we never want anything to happen to our precious little babies.
Exactly. Oh yeah, Forgotten Vessel. That was what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
Forgotten Vessel
absolutely.
sounds very cool.
I think all of those would be fantastic.
But between Forgotten Vessel, Paradox, and Rascal, which one would be best?
Ooh, I think for making a literal cat, the Forgotten Vessel probably makes the most sense, because, you know, a literal cat would be possessed and imbued by this entropic force, and then it would disappear, leaving it still a literal cat, but with vestiges of this entropic power, which would make the most sense if you wanted to take things literally. Absurdia very much embraces not being literal, but for the purposes of making a literal cat, that might be the straight line approach.
Fair enough.
I think Forgotten Vessel might be the way to go. Like you guys said, the Rascal sounds very on the nose, and it does. I mean, it's like right up the alley for a cat too. I like the idea. I like the concept of the Forgotten Vessel playbook.
Yeah, it does give the character I think the Rascal is maybe a good fit, but like I think in terms of what the other two provide the character, either the Paradox or the Forgotten Vessel, I think it would be more interesting maybe as the player to actually try and play this character and not like worry about physical limitations of your character, even if they're not like mechanically enforced.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you are playing as the Forgotten Vessel.
Yeah, it bypasses a lot of the limitations of the physical limitations of a cat in a way that makes sense in the fiction.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right, cool. Also, I don't think a cat could use a bike, a skateboard, or roller skates. Skateboard, maybe.
Skateboard, definitely. I think we've done skateboarding cats before.
I actually have seen a cat skateboard in real life, so not very well, but I've seen one do it.
Amazing.
I think that was like
That's incredible.
What was it? Hardwired Island. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was like that cat's whole thing.
All right, Forgotten Vessel.
So, we have our playbook. Yep. Let's see, what is up next? Name, pronouns, look, and demeanor.
So, we have a listener submission from one Mint Rabbit.
Okay.
Who asked us on our Tumblr Literal Cat Pod listeners page a while back, what game should Murphy be in, showing us a picture of a orange cat who looks very concerned. And my first thought upon seeing that face, which I will be posting here in the chat in just a moment.
Thank you.
That this cat should go in Absurdia, because it's seen the horrors.
Yes, Murphy.
absolutely.
Murphy belongs in Absurdia. Murphy has witnessed the entropic terror firsthand and knows.
Yeah, you can see it all over that cat's face.
Yup. Yeah.
All right.
Perfect. Okay, so Murphy is an orange cat with very, very light colored fur. I believe that's a tabby.
Looks like a tabby.
It's got the stripes.
Yeah, looks like a creamsicle, basically.
Yeah, very creamsicle type of cat.
Okay, so we've got our name, pronouns for Murphy. Do we know?
I believe he. Yes, he.
Okay. Look and demeanor.
Well, he looks like he's seen the horrors.
Do you, I guess, question, in trying to follow the rules as closely as possible, do you want to pick look and demeanor from the playbook, or do you just want to create your own descriptions?
There's some stuff in the descriptions here that I think works with what we've been given.
I think so.
So, like, we could say this cat maybe has vacant eyes. That definitely fits.
Yes.
Perhaps an ominous aura.
Yes. We only need 2, so unless there's another appearance, that's sufficient.
I mean, we could say that it has clothes, but I think the 2 is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering we've already got kind of an additional physical description up above with very orange cat, white stripes, looks like a creamsicle.
Yeah. Just based on this picture, panicky immediately, for demeanor, panicky
Oh,
definitely sticks out.
Yep. That's perfect.
Amazing.
Okay, is that yeah, that's the whole step, right?
Yeah.
Up next is intro questions. Once you've got the basics down, take some time to look over the intro questions. Each playbook has a set of prompts to get you think about your character's place in town and how they got to be where they are. So the 3 we have here are: what entropic horror claimed your body as its vessel? What do you remember about your vassalage? And what happened when it abandoned you?
So is there like a list of entropic horrors that we have to work from, or can we kind of just make one up?
You can totally make one up. It would be encouraged to do so, especially as the Forgotten Vessel. I obviously sort of come up with a bunch in Absurdia and in Monster Hour Season 2, but if we want to make one for Murphy, I think that would be excellent.
Okay. How does one make a horror?
Yeah. Generally speaking, when you're making an entropic horror for Absurdia and creating any kind of threat in general, you want to take something normal and make it terrifying. The whole premise of Absurdia is that outlandish, surreal, and absurd things are normal, everyday, pedestrian, commonplace, and normal things are absolutely terrifying and will kill you. So, for example, in Monster Hour Season 2, we had the Screaming Fog, a sort of weather-based terror that induced terror.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Economy, which was sort of this almost godlike force that responded negatively when the basic economic structure of the town sort of got cattywampus.
I thought it was Clunkanaxed.
Oh, the Clunkanax, yes. A gold effigy of with heads of the 3 main characters of Season 2 that in sort of a Cerberus-like fashion that got larger by eating more money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Other ones that I've done in various one-shots have been The Lawn, which is a not quite sentient, but a sort of megalomaniacal lawn that grows over everything in town. So, those are just a few examples.
Okay, I kind of see where you're going, or like the idea behind it.
Yeah.
What's a good one for a cat? Like, those all relate really well to like people and like how they go about their lives, but like trying to think of what a cat does and like how they go about life that could affect them in a similar way to something that they would see as completely usual.
It's not necessarily that the cat is in any way unusual. It's that something unusual found a use for the cat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like just touchstones from other media. So like Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls, the Glow Cloud from Night Vale, the Dear Listeners with Isabel Lovelace and Wolf 359.
Oh,
Those would all be examples of like entropic horrors.
Forgot about Wolf 359.
Wolf 359 goes so hard.
It does.
I love that show.
I've never heard of it.
It's very good.
Yeah,
it's a very good audio drama.
I do have an idea though.
Yes.
For our entropic horror.
Bring us back in.
Something about like a being of gossip.
Ooh,
okay.
I love that. Like the rumor, like a sentient like rumor.
Yeah, like not literally the rumor weed from that one like VeggieTales thing, but like something that like has that spirit. I'm probably the only one who knows what I just said.
Yeah, I'm not familiar,
sorry.
but
it's okay.
But yeah, I love that idea because like, cats are very sort of like aloof in general, but I love the idea of them sort of like silently taking in all the gossip, and like a rumor gossip based entropic horror feels very on brand.
Yeah.
So, what entropic horror claimed your body as its vessel? The rumor. What do you remember about your vassalage? Based on that facial expression? Everything.
Everything. You dug too deep into the town's gossip.
Probably put some subtext there. So it's the current ongoings of things in town.
Yeah, forbidden knowledge.
But also potentially, like, ancient history, because who knows how long this one cat was absorbing every single bit of gossip in town.
True.
Yeah.
It could have been one cat listening to every rumor for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. Okay, what happened when it abandoned you?
we have to tell them. We have to tell everyone what we know.
Well, and I imagine it would be like, going from having like not omnipotence, but like something related to it in a twisted way to suddenly being like bereft of knowledge would also be very jarring and disorienting.
Yeah, but I love the idea of having the character be like, okay, well, now I can do more than just sit back and silently observe. I have to tell someone all of this stuff.
Yes. I know it's not a necessity that the cat be able to talk, but that certainly would be a logical outcome of being possessed by the rumor.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, because like it would be one thing if like we could just tell all the other cats everything we know, but like if we gained the ability to speak from being possessed and now we'll just share gossip from who knows when, because we can't keep time straight.
Yeah,
probably.
All right.
Like, yes, I remember. Yes, just yesterday, the mayor snuck off to go meet his lover in the wood. Can't stop young love, Sir, hey, Mr. Cat, the governor is 65 years old.
That happened 40 years ago. What are you talking about? Everybody already knows that.
And is also a Hydra.
Oh.
Yeah.
That one's a little more well-kept secret.
Man, isn't this episode so absurd?
It's kind of crazy. One might even say a little wacky. But mostly, yeah, absurd.
Yeah, it's almost like it's about a game that makes the absurd commonplace and the commonplace creepy.
Love that. That's just my real life.
Sorry to hear that.
It's alright. But we're here to stop the absurdity for a second to tell you about the show and all the fun things that it entails.
Yeah. Well, mostly we want to tell you where to go if you want to learn more about us.
Yeah.
And that's what the most important thing. Go to badgertrove.com/literalcatpod to learn more about the show.
Absolutely. You can find links to basically everywhere we are online there, and a bunch of little fun stuff as well. Another website you can check out is our Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/badgertrove to get access to some exclusive rewards. Our lowest tier is only $2 a month. So that helps support us a little bit and, shows us interest in everything,
Yeah. Also, if you don't like going to websites, you could always just go to whatever social media site you're on and look up Literal Cat Pod. Except right now, you can't follow us on Twitter anymore. The account still exists, I've just locked it down in response to the new terms of service update.
Yep, we're out of there.
Yep. You can follow us on Blue Sky, same username.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, aside from that, if you like the idea of supporting us but you don't have money, don't worry, there's plenty of stuff you can still do. You could tell a friend, but if you don't have friends, don't worry, you're still not out of options. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other app that has a star rating system and or a review system, then you could leave us a rating and or review. In all seriousness though, ratings are like the best way you can help promote your shows that you want to see do well.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is Apple's algorithm prioritizes things based on how many ratings they get and how high those ratings are. So if a show gets a lot of high ratings, it is much more likely to appear in front of someone who's looking for a show recommendation when they're browsing the site. Same thing with Spotify, same thing with basically anyone else who has a browse feature. So if you have no one you can tell about the show, then you could still really help us out and really help us get in front of new audience members just by pressing a button that says 5 stars on whatever app you're listening to the show on.
Yeah, it's a great way to support us, quick and easy, wouldn't take too much time out of your day, and it would mean a whole bunch to us.
Yeah, it really would. Finally, if you want to reach us directly, we have an email account, literalcatpod@gmail.com, where you can send us pictures of your cats, you can recommend games, you can challenge us with things to try and do on the show, or, if you have a game that you would like to come on and do with us. We have taken on so many people who want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Professionals, hobbyists, etc. Reach out. You never know. We might be able to put you in.
Yeah, shoot your shot,
For real. Anyway, I think the only thing left to mention is we are now 1 episode out from the beginning of Wild West Winter. Everyone get excited about that.
Let's go! I'm genuinely so excited for Wild West Winter. I love cowboys. And I love winter. So this is a win-win for me.
Anyway, Avalon, it's time for you to promote yourself. What are you doing?
Oh boy.
Where are you?
I am at my house right
And
now.
I'm so sorry.
Well, you can find me in the real world as a vague mystery, but you can find me mostly online at Twitch, Tumblr, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Avalon Alchemist. I'm still streaming on Twitch here and there. I've been super busy, so streams have been kind of sparse, but, you know, I'm still on there. I'm still a gamer, you know? So, check me out there. Come in, chat, have fun. That's all I got. Joel, what are you up to?
Well, for the moment, I've been trying to grow my stream over at twitch.tv/omamervt, but I've been making stuff for other sites as well. Just, you know, little fun short videos where I can. You can find me basically anywhere online at omamervt.
Nice. I think that's all we got for you then.
That is all we got for you.
All right. Well, let's get back to the absurd episode.
Yeah. All right. So what's our agenda? That's the next thing, right?
Yes, agendas. So you get to pick 2. Agendas in Absurdia are the main mechanic for leveling up or for earning experience. They're sort of representing like core drives and motives for your character. So there's 4 options for the Forgotten Vessel. There's Vengeance. You'll get revenge on the thing that did this to you. Mark experience when you deal a major blow against or lose faction rating with entropy. Nihilist, nothing matters anymore. Mark experience when you could stop something bad from befalling another person, but choose not to. Dark Knight, you didn't ask for this, but you're going to make the most of it. Mark experience when you protect someone even as you terrify them. And Apotheosis, you had a taste and you want more. Mark experience when you improve your faction rating or establish a friendly contact with entropy, or when you gain a fracture.
Oddly enough, I feel like Vengeance and Apotheosis both make sense, although I don't know if you're allowed to take both of them.
You certainly are.
Oh, okay. Because, like, you hate that it happened to you, but you can't go back to living normal now. You want more.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are allowed to, like, make up your own agendas or, you know, pick other agendas if you want to. I don't know if we want to go that route, but there is one that would be very... from another playbook that would be very fitting. From the Vox, there's Muckraker. Your interest in truth often veers into petty gossip. Mark experience when you indulge in small-town scuttlebutt at the expense of your credibility.
Ooh.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, that is very good.
I do like that.
It's pretty fitting for our little cat, Murphy.
I think we can add that.
Yep.
Maybe Vengeance and Muckraker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's good. I like that.
Amazing.
And then our ratings are next?
Yes, character ratings. So each playbook has a set of starting ratings, and then you get to add 1 to one of those. So the initial ratings for the Forgotten Vessel are 0 cheek. Cheek is your charm, wiles, and artifice. It's used for sway and hoodwink, the basic moves. -1 wits, your intellect, instinct, and quick thinking, used for assess reality and save your skin. +1 pluck, pluck being your strength, fortitude, tenacity, used for face fear and fight for your life. And +1 chaos, a measure of your adaptability and embrace of the unknown, as well as your connection to entropic power, used to embrace chaos.
I know chaos is like the main thing of the Forgotten Vessel, but I kind of think we should put our point in cheek because of our gift of gab.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, since one of our motives is vengeance, we don't necessarily want to be more entropic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'd have +1 cheek, -1 wits, +1 pluck, +1 chaos.
Yep.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is up next?
Moves, I think.
Moves.
All characters have access to 7 basic moves. Sway, hoodwink, assess reality, save your skin, face fear, fight for your life, and embrace chaos. Anyone can make these moves by activating the narrative trigger. In addition to the basic moves, you also have playbook moves. Let's see. Some playbook moves require that you make a roll with one of your ratings to expend some of your essence. So we get 3 Forgotten Vessel moves.
Correct.
You start off
with Entropic Soul. Accumulate 5 fractures instead of 4 before you must retire the character. For each fracture you have, add 1 box to your Vestige track. The fractures you gain are fissures from which vestiges of entropic horror seep through. The ceaseless whispers, which is the game master, may ask you to do dangerous or hurtful things in line with the darker aspects of your fractures. If you refuse, mark vestige.
Yeah, so a fracture is what happens when you run out of essence, effectively, and you can only sustain, for most playbooks, 4 fractures before your character has to retire. The Forgotten Vessel has a unique benefit of having a 5th fracture available,
I can see
at the cost of having the Entropic Terror whisper into your ear.
Yeah. No matter what, though, like, there's 6 moves, so not even the Forgotten Vessel can mark all of the moves, right? Or 7 moves.
Correct, yeah. So we get one automatically, and then we get to choose 2 more from the list.
Let's see. There's a lot of these, so we might want to take turns reading through them.
Yeah.
I'll start with the first one. Echoes of a dead god's laughter. Laughing. Always laughing. You can mark 1 vestige to treat your body as a source of entropic power for the purposes of rolling to embrace chaos. For the options on a hit, the effect of the power is the same as the last entropic power with which you embraced chaos.
So in Absurdia, there's no use magic move. Different playbooks have sort of surreal supernatural abilities that often use plus chaos, but there's no generic use magic move. With Embrace Chaos, you're contending with a source of entropic power that already exists and, trying to channel it or bend it to your will. So this basically lets you hold a little bit of the last entropic power that you interacted with you all the time to embrace chaos.
Okay.
I can read the next one.
Okay, go for it.
Fractal Conduit. You may choose one option even when you miss on a roll to embrace chaos, channeling some of the energy to your ends amidst the mayhem. You cannot choose to quell the power's effect with this move.
Like ever, or just when you fail?
Just when you fail, although that's a good...
Okay.
Gotcha.
You'd only be using the move when you fail, so that still works as written.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Up next, we have Marked for Chaos. You have been baptized in the entropic currents churning just beneath the surface of reality. Mark Embrace Chaos as an advanced move.
I don't think our character would want that.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Unfathomable is the next one. Your expressions and countenance are forever alien and unknowable. When you hoodwink, roll plus chaos instead of plus cheek.
It feels extremely cat-like.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did just take plus cheek, though, so...
True.
Though that's only for what... There's 2 different cheek moves, so it may still come in handy if whoever ends up playing this decides to boost chaos with advancements.
True.
Instead of... Though I don't know if it's a good starting move for us, just based on that logic.
Yeah.
Anyway, you got the next one.
Yeah, I got Terrifying Visage. You can mark 1 vestige to manifest a horrifying aspect of your former possession. Ordinary people will run screaming in terror, and powerful entities will think twice about crossing you.
Ooh, I like it because I think the idea behind our former possession, it would just be like some incorporeal figure like whispering in somebody's ear like one of like the worst things that they've ever done. And it's just like, I know
really
this
good.
about you.
That's a really good take.
Just have blackmail material as a passive action.
Exactly.
Basically, yeah.
That is pretty good.
All right. Up next, we have Pariah. The whole town knows what happened to you, knows what you're capable of. When you goad, you may roll plus chaos instead of against faction rating. What is goad? Did we cover that?
Like, if I understand it correctly, goad it's one of the faction moves, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you're trying to get one of the factions to basically do what you want while getting them to think they're acting against you.
Okay.
Basically. It's like getting under someone's skin, or like a group skin, like calling them out, trying to get them to act angrily or irrationally. Typically, when you goad, you roll against your faction rating, so you subtract your faction rating instead of adding it, because the more loathed you are by a faction, the better at goading them you'll be. But this move effectively allows you to goad everyone with chaos because you're terrifying.
Nice.
Let's see. Next move is Blackened Blood, Burning Bile. When you mark vestige to avoid harm from an attack, you may also choose to inflict your weapon's harm on the enemy that attacked you. You take the essence track instead of the harm track, and then you also counterattack.
Yeah, exactly. It's a counterattack, basically. Next up, we have Revenant. Your body is animated by more than blood and sinew. You no longer die when you mark your last harm box. You may continue to take action as normal for the remainder of the scene, and additional harm has no effect on you. At the end of the scene, clear all your harm boxes and take a fracture.
Ooh.
That one might make sense.
9 lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, we have Dissonant Whispers, great band name. When you entreat the Ceaseless Whispers for guidance, roll plus chaos. On a hit, the Benighted Murmuration offers you counsel. Choose one from the list below. On a 7 to 9, the insight will be vague, confusing, or terrifying. Path forward illuminated, a vision of what may come to pass, an answer to a question that haunts you. And then on a miss, your overtures draw immediate and unwelcome attention.
I feel like we have to take this one.
This feels so fitting for, like, being the forgotten vessel of the rumor.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I've been looking at that one since we started reading the moves. Like, that one's really on point.
Yep.
Dig it.
Okay, so Dissonant Whispers, and then we just need one more.
Do we want to go with Terrifying Visage?
I do
That's,
like that
for you.
one.
That's the Mark Essence to get blackmail material.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
yeah. I like those two because it also leans into the, or leans away from, like, I want to get this power back, and more like, I've been blessed / cursed by my former possession, and, like, these are the aspects of it.
Yep.
So those are our two. I think we're just going back down the list. Moves gear. So we have all these gear things over here.
Yep. Sundries from an old life, a house that no longer feels like home, and a mark of corruption that can be wielded as a weapon. And this is the one where we actually have, like, a choice. And there's two that really make sense.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially.
Uh-huh.
These first two are...
Yeah, Rending Nails or Ravenous Maw.
Yeah, I mean, both very fitting for a cat.
Yeah.
I like Rending Nails, personally.
Yeah. I like the idea of, like, a rumor-based person using Ravenous Maw, though. Like, very mouth-based enemy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But Rending Nails is also very
Now, it makes sense. Like, all of this cat's power went to its mouth, so...
good.
I mean, I don't think we can go wrong with either one. They both make perfect sense for a literal cat.
What do you think,
Yep.
Joel?
I've been swayed by your argument for Ravenous Maw.
Okay. Plus, we get that little bit of extra damage. So, do we want to read through the other gear in its entirety, or...
Oh, yeah, I guess we could. Although, would we have these things, the sundries from an old life, or would we have to alter those, perhaps?
We might have to alter them, because they are very human-based.
Yeah.
They are. You can always forgo your gear if you don't want it.
Okay.
Okay, we might have to forgo the sundries from an old life. I think it makes sense that we have a house that no longer feels like home,
Mm-hmm.
or an abandoned structure we call home, or a dark corner of the back alley that you've made home. Which one of those do we think makes the most sense?
I mean, back alley for a cat that was probably running around town all the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or an abandoned structure.
I feel like either of those makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I feel like they'd want to protect, this entity would want to protect their vessel a bit more than just having them in an alley, so maybe an abandoned structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, would the cat return to the home that its possessor, considering how much we've already established it didn't like being possessed, would it return to that place?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Fair point.
I think, okay.
I kind of want to make an argument for back alley.
Okay.
I think back alley makes sense. And, you know, what I will say about the back alley, sort of in the narrative of the game, it's a sort of non-Euclidean, omnipresent collection of, you know, alleys, streets, stairwells, corners
Mm-hmm.
that sort of knit the town together in sort of an upside down way. And so there are, you know, people and entities that live in the back alley. And so it makes a lot of sense for our dear cat to seek refuge there, I would think.
Yeah.
I thought so too. We're skipping bonds, which I think is the next step.
Yes, because those you have to do with other players.
So next up, we have our contacts.
Yeah, so we pick one friend and one rival. There's 4 suggestions, but you can also come up with your own option that you want to do.
Okay.
I find it unlikely that we'd have any friends left from before, considering, you know, lifespans and such of cats normally.
Sam.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah. A sycophantic fan.
Maybe there's some kid who's just always listening to this cat go on about rumors.
Or I was thinking like someone in either like a retirement home or like someone who works for the bureaucracy who's like obsessed with trying to like track down all these rumors.
Oh, that's also really good. I think I like the idea of the bureaucracy guy trying to track the source of the rumors, or it's like some kind of historian doing that. If we do friend, I think if it's going to be the kid or the retirement home, it would be a rival.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are good options.
Yeah, I feel like this character might appreciate someone trying to help it figure out when the things it knows happen so it can get a sense of time again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that it would necessarily care that someone just hangs around it to hear it ramble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea of this cat talking to an old man and being like, hey, do you remember when the mayor got caught out in the woods? And he's like, yeah, I got you.
Sounds like a friend then.
Yeah.
What should we name this friend?
Oh, my mind immediately went to Elmer.
Elmer? Nice.
Okay.
Like the glue.
Yeah, Elmer, the sycophantic fan.
Yes.
And that's our friend.
Yes. So now we need a rival.
Maybe a cosmic inconvenience or a whisper from darkness.
Yeah. We established a friend from before. Doesn't make much sense, so.
Yeah, no. But like some entropic being who... Because this cat hears so many whispers already, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, a whisper in the darkness as a rival, then?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Surely one of those whispers gets on his nerve.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's one that's just always in the back alley, and that one... And that character in the back alley is just like, you never actually see them. It's just you always turn, there's a dark alleyway, and you hear this specific whisper's voice always coming from down that alleyway.
I love it.
Maybe we just call it Alley.
I was going to suggest alley-oop or Alizé.
Oh, that's good too.
How would you spell Alizé? I like that one a lot.
It's French. I don't know exactly how to spell it.
Alonzi. That's French, right?
Like, as in the singer?
No, it's an actual word, I believe. The problem is I don't know French, so...
Well, we can kind of spell it
Oh.
however we want. How does Allezay sound?
Works for me.
Yeah, no, I try and find a spelling of this, and all I've got is the singer. But the singer's name is spelled Alizee.
Do we want it to be named after the singer?
I don't need it to be named after a singer that I literally only heard of just now.
Okay.
How about Alley, like Alley, and then Zay, like the singer, Z-E with an accent on it?
Yeah.
Alizé.
How do you put an accent on a...
Good question.
I'll tell you what, you know how I usually do this?
Google it.
I Google Pokemon,
Oh.
and then I copy-paste the E for Pokemon.
Yeah, that works.
It legitimately, every time I had to do it for like my Spanish class that I took, every time I was writing a paper, I just had the Pokemon Google search pulled up on the side.
Hey man, whatever works.
Up next, we have...
Factions. Right?
Yes.
Finally, you'll mark down your initial reputation, represented by your starting faction ratings. The mechanical representation of your reputation and goodwill among Absurdia's 4 factions: bureaucracy, community, underbelly, and entropy.
So we start with a -1 in everything except entropy, which gets a +2.
Yes, the Forgotten Vessel is deeply connected to entropy, and most other factions are weirded out by them.
And when we fix that by making entropy hate us, we will level up.
Yeah.
Yes. The one other element of this is that when you're making your character with the group, you tell the group one thing that is true about entropy in this town. A person, place, belief, rumor. I don't know if that counts. It's something you tell the group. I don't know if it counts as something that, for the rules of this podcast, that would be like co-created with your play group, if you want to leave that out or if we want to do that now.
I mean, it's a thing that you decide, not necessarily the group decides. So
Yeah.
I think we could do this.
Cool. Let's do it.
Yep. So rumor is a force of entropy in this town. We already know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that would be sufficient. That's certainly something that you'd be establishing with this playbook. We could go further.
What about like establishing that all forces of entropy are based around like it's a thing in this game that entropy is built off of human communication. And so like there's the force of lies, there's the force of truth, of
Oh, fine.
like, as we know, rumor. That like
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
yeah. It's like just anytime you wanted to establish a new force of entropy, you find a an aspect of human communication to tie it to.
Love it.
Trying to think of how I should type this out.
I think it would be like all forces of entropy are aspects of communication. Yeah, truth, lies, gossip, flirtation even.
Love.
Flirtation.
Vengeance.
Yeah.
I don't know, is vengeance necessarily like communication, or is that...
True. Spite.
Yelling, anger.
We don't have to come up with all of them, but
Yeah.
there's lots of options there.
There would absolutely be the force of raised voices.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it for things that we have to decide now, right?
Yeah, that is the end of character creation.
Although there's one last thing to establish here. Our essence type is vestige, and we refresh our essence whenever we tap a new source of entropic power.
Yes.
So you've already kind of told us a little bit that like essence is every character has like a core aspect, and you mark essence when you, act against that or lean into it heavily enough?
So you can mark vestige to do a few things. Some playbook moves require it, so like Terrifying Visage requires marking one vestige. You can mark vestige to push yourself or help out on a basic move. When you do that, you roll 3d6 and discard the lowest, or if you're helping someone, they roll 3d6 and discard the lowest result. You can also mark vestige or essence for whichever playbook you're using to avoid all harm from a single attack. So you spend, and sometimes a monster or a phenomena or something like that can cause you to mark essence, as can certain basic moves. And so if your track fills up, then you drop out of the scene and return with a fracture. And to avoid doing that, you need to trigger your essence refresh for the entropic, or for the Forgotten Vessel. That's tap a new source of entropic power. Generally speaking, that means succeeding on a roll to embrace chaos with a new entropic power that you haven't interacted with before, but there's certainly other ways that you could do that narratively.
Makes sense. But yeah, that is the end of this. So only rules kind of sort of maybe broken was we threw out
some of the gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gear. We threw out the sundries from our old life.
Yeah.
We didn't have that.
Yeah, I think really that's the only one we broke. I mean, intended to play as human. I mean, Quinn, is that intended in your book?
I would say no. Absurdia, it is inherently absurd and surreal, and, there are sentient cars and living plants, and...
Oh, so we're good then.
You can... There's nothing in anything that says you have to play as a human, and I think it would be well within the rules to play as a sentient cat.
All right.
All right.
Love it when we don't have to break a rule to simply make an episode.
That's always fun. Yeah, just the one this time. Anyway, I believe that's everything. Quinn, is there something you would like to plug here at the end?
Absurdia, it's a really cool game. You can make a literal cat by just giving up one gear item. And it's a lot of fun. You can check that out over at quinn.itch.io/Absurdia. Also, Monster Hour podcast. We played Absurdia in season 2. Time cats were a pretty integral part of the plot. So if you're interested in a actual play of Absurdia, or Monster of the Week for that matter, highly encourage you to go check that out. We're Monster Hour Pod on pretty much all social media.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. I've been really looking forward to making a literal cat, and I love Murphy, our reformed rumor monger.
Yeah, this is a very good...
Well, sort of reformed. It's the start of their Reformation arc.
Yes.
But yeah, this is a very cool system you got here. I do love like surrealist, absurd
Thank
stuff.
you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always nice to put a fun little twist on whatever's going on in life.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of absurd things, Avalon, how's that cat pun coming along?
I do have one, and I think this one is pretty good. What is a cat's favorite knowledge-based board game? Any guesses?
Catan?
Categories?
Close. Trivial Pursuit.
Oh.
A+. A+.
Thank you.
All right, thank you everyone for listening. Join us next time for, I don't actually remember what game we're playing next time.